Hey everybody, I am Keaton, this is Kid Catholic, and for today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about Steubenville and my Steubenville experience. But first, please check out my website, kidcatholic.com, all sorts of things you can do on there, and please click the red subscribe button down below if it's not already, and share this video and channel with your friends and family. Make sure that they know about Kid Catholic. Now, before I get into the topic, over a month ago, I made a video about the California law, about what might have come into play, about how priests were required to tell what was said in their confessions, and good news, that got undone. They removed that with a lot of prayer, a lot of backlash, and thank God that now that law is now non-existent and will not happen. Then again, they could come in and make something else, or they could change it. But as of right now, we're in the safe zone. So a lot of prayer went into that. So we are very grateful right now. Now I wanted to get into sort of a day-by-day what we did in Steubenville, and then look at how it affected me and how it affected others. So we started Friday. We took off Friday morning. We got there. So it was on a college campus. It was on the Missouri State campus. It was Steubenville STL. And so while we were there, it was like a big campus, and the arena where they have their basketball games, that was where they had the talks, and stuff like that. So we started off there. The first night we started off with like a concert slash talks type thing, and we did like a lot of mini talks, all like day and night, or morning and night. We did a lot of mini talks. So like I can't like tell you exactly what they said in those talks because there were so many, to be honest. I can't remember. However, what I can tell you, it was almost like, for a lot of them, it was hearing the person talking and thinking, how do you know me? You know, like if that makes sense. They're explaining situations, they're explaining where we might be in our spiritual life, and they're getting it 100% accurate. And it was just really cool to experience. So that was the first day. And the next day, we had mass and the concert talk thing again. And then that day, there were two talks that you could go to. You could go to Eternity 101 or Dating 101. And, you know, I went to dating, but I'll spare you the details of that. I also got to see Father Mike that day, not like meet him, like see him from way across the stage, like physically see him. He's like YouTube's like biggest Catholic channel, which is awesome. So I got to see him there. They had like this Family Feud type Steubenville thing. There was a lot of stuff we did throughout the day. To be honest, I'm trying to recap day by day, but I can't remember everything. Anyway, and so later on that day, they had the girls and the dudes split up, and it was like a dudes only, like men talk, and I thought what I thought was going to be said in the dude only talk was actually what wasn't said. It was a lot about friendship and brotherhood and all this types of incredible things. And looking back, I wish that I like brought a notebook to take notes, because I'm forgetting what all we talked about. But it was actually really cool. At the end, you'd have like you'd go into groups of 3, and you'd like ask each other to pray for certain situations that's going on in your life. It was a lot about brotherhood and how brothers stick together. And we did this prayer group type thing. It was really cool. It was really great to be like with dudes only and hear experience from other dudes' life experience, what they've gone through. So that was like one of the highlights of the entire thing. And then later on that night, we had again another talk mixed with a concert type thing. But later was adoration, and then later on that night, we had adoration, which was an incredible adoration. I lost track. It was at least over an hour. It seemed like 2 hours. It was incredible, and it was incredible, especially like now when we have social media and all these different things, and kids are being led further and further away from the church. It was awesome to see all these high school students, because Steubenville is if you don't know, is a high school conference only. So you can have I have kids going out of their senior year and kids going into their freshman year, which was what I was. I was the youngest there, and so it was those groups of kids. And so to see all these high school kids, like all of us like getting very emotionally involved into the adoration. You look down and you see some high schoolers like crying and realizing that they've, whatever situation they may be in, realizing that they've messed up. Realizing that they've sinned, realizing how far away they've gone off the rails, away from God, and so that was a moment for like being led back to God. For most kids in there, that's what it was being led back to God, and it was incredible that one weekend could do that, and only Steubenville could do that. And so it was incredible to see that adoration, everybody getting so emotionally involved, especially when we're high school kids. It was actually incredible to see. And the next day was the last day of the Steubenville conference. We had again the concert slash talk thing, and then we had mass. And after mass, what was really cool is Father Mike. He called down those who are discerning to be a religious sister. He called them down to the floor, and you could just see all these girls like flooding to the floor. Of course, it wasn't all of them, but there were a lot of girls down there. And we prayed for them. It was incredible to see. And then after that, he asked those who are discerning to be priests down to the floor. And so you saw all these dudes come down to the floor, and there were a lot of them as well. So that was really cool to see, like kids coming to know their vocation, or being willing to discern their vocation at Steubenville. So that was incredible to see. And then after that, sorry to keep messing with my hair. After that, that was the end of Steubenville. However, it wasn't the end for our parish. After that, we went to like an amusement park thing. And so after the amusement park type thing, we went, I don't know why I say type thing, it was an amusement park. We went back to the hotel. And this wasn't with Steubenville. This wasn't like with the conference. This was something that our parish only did. Again, they split up the boys and girls, and we went into like a basement type thing. And it started at 10. And it was supposed to end at maximum like 11:45, because we had curfew at 12. And so like we had to be in our rooms by then. But guys, we talked so much that it went up until 12:30. And what was great about this was it wasn't just adults talking. It wasn't just our chaperones talking. It was actually the seniors who were going into their freshman year of college, giving advice, giving tips to the other high school kids. And for me, going into high school, to hear that stuff from dudes who are coming out of high school and who had survived it, it was really cool to hear. They gave tips on everything from spiritual life to prayer life to girls to high school, to how to handle your Catholicism, your faith in a high school, even in a public high school, how difficult that can be. Because it's one thing, to hear it from these adults who, of course, have life experience, but their high school, what their high school was, has changed so much as to what it is now. Culture has changed a lot. But to hear it from these kids, from these dudes who are going into college, the culture hasn't changed that much since they went through high school. And you see these guys, they went through all of that high school, and they still manage to have such a deep prayer life, to have such a deep spiritual life. You can totally tell. And it wasn't just like when you're trying to get involved in daily prayer life, which I have been involved in daily prayer life. I have a relationship with Jesus. However, especially over the summer, Steubenville helped me realize that I've sort of slowly started to fall out of that daily prayer life. And high school, going into high school, I've been homeschooled all my life, so going into high school, it might even make me slip out more of my daily prayer life, and I didn't want that, right? So these seniors, they explain not only why daily prayer life is important. Like, I know why daily prayer life is important. I know why having a good spiritual life is important. What they explain is like literal, like logistical, I don't know if that's a word, logistical tips on how to have a daily prayer life. Like when to do it, how to keep it up. And some kids in that room didn't even have one, right? A lot of kids there didn't even have a daily prayer life, which I don't know if that sounded rude. It's not a bad thing. Well, it is a bad thing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That didn't mean to sound condescending, what I just said. But to get back involved in the daily prayer life, for a lot of them, and for me to keep up with the daily prayer life. And they explain literal tips on how to do it, meditational prayer, what they do, taking notes, all those sort of things. And so that for me was like, out of all the talks, that was the best talk of the trip, was the one with the parish. These guys who I knew, these guys who I've served the altar with, these guys who I'm friends with, right? Hearing their tips, hearing their advice. And like I said, it started at I think 10 and went till like 12:30. So we talked for a long time, and it was really incredible to hear. So Steubenville overall, for me, it really helped me spiritually a lot more than I ever thought it could, right? Emma Lou Nicole said this, I think it was like on her story or something, a while back, and it sort of stuck with me. She described part of her spiritual life as putting a band-aid over a splinter. Like the splinter's still there. The band-aid doesn't fix anything, but from the outside it does. And then that's sort of what Steubenville helped me come to realize was what I was doing, right? And so it sort of helped me to remove that splinter, begin removing that splinter fully. So Emily Nicole, thank you for that quote, I guess. So Steubenville was really incredible. Like I said, it helped me out more than I thought it could, with all the talks, with adoration, with the mass, with both the guy talks. It was really, really incredible. It was really awesome to make some more friends. I mean, I knew everyone in my parish, but I wasn't necessarily friends with everyone. So I got to do that. And yeah, it was awesome. I got to meet some Kid Catholic viewers while I was there. I got recognized a couple times, which was really awesome. Really cool to have. And there were 5,000 high schoolers there. 5,000 high schoolers. They had an opportunity for confession all weekend long. They said that they had over 3,000 confessions said just over that period of one weekend, which again is absolutely incredible. So Steubenville, I'm really looking forward to next year. I'm really excited for next year. That was just my Steubenville experience. What I thought of it, first time going in, it was definitely different than I thought. And like a good different, like different than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be, I don't know, but I didn't think it would like hit me as much as it did. You know, I didn't think the talks would relate to me as much as they did, and I could tell that they related to everybody else in that arena also. So I don't know if you're around high school age and you didn't go to Steubenville, or you're thinking about going to Steubenville next year. Please go. If you're from my parish, hi, what's up? I don't know why I said if you're from my parish. I didn't have anything to say to you if you're from my parish, but except for hi. But if you went to Steubenville, please let me know your experience in the comments below. That's what I was going to say. If you went to my parish, if you went to Steubenville, please let me know your Steubenville experience in the comments down below. Or if you used to go to Steubenville, let me know your Steubenville experience down in the comments below, what you think about it. So now that the topic is done, it's time for
the Saint of the Week.
So today's Saint of the Week is Saint Aloysius Gonzaga. So today's Saint of the Week is Saint Aloysius Gonzaga, and his story is actually pretty amazing. The first word he ever said was the holy name of Jesus, and he was born in the 16th century, and he was destined for the military by his father, who he was to be his father's here. His father served in the military, and so that's what his dad wanted him to do. That's what everybody sort of expected him to do. However, at the age of 9, he realized that that wasn't what he wanted to do. He wanted to live a life of perpetual virginity, and he wanted to enter an order, and he wanted to become more deep in prayer life. He didn't want to join the military, and he moved back to Italy with his family, and when he was 18, he finally convinced his father to let him enter the order, because his dad had actually refused that for a long time, because his dad wanted him to join the military. And so he entered the order, and he spent his life serving the poor, and actually serving in hospitals during a battle. And he served them in Mikan. And there were a lot of diseases there. There was a lot of bad stuff there. And so he died actually from that at the age 23. And fun fact, the last word he ever said was Jesus. How awesome is that? So the first word was Jesus, the last word is Jesus, and it comes around in full circle. Now the bravery that he has, the bravery to go against what his dad wants, the bravery to say yes to Jesus like Mary said, the bravery to actually be willing to serve at those medical facilities, to help people, even when it resulted in his death, is absolutely incredible. And I wanted to use it for this topic because Steubenville is a coming together of high schoolers, right? A coming together of 5,000 high schoolers throughout the Midwest of the entire United States, right? And when these high schoolers, when they come together, they all have very similar experiences. Even though they might live in completely separate states, they have very similar experiences. And Steubenville spiritually is what brings us all together and spiritually brings us closer to God. And actually what brought St. Aloysius closer to God was the fact that he had a kidney failure when he was younger, and so he wasn't able to have like a full social life, and so he spent most of his time in prayer, and that is what brought him so close to God, even being such a young person. And so that's what we can learn from him, right? Steubenville helps us to get closer to God. It helps us to get closer to each other. Spiritually, it helps us so much. And St. Aloysius can spiritually help us as well. Anytime we feel like we might be falling out of that daily prayer routine, or anytime we feel like if you went to Steubenville, we might not be following through on what Steubenville taught us. The theme of actually this Steubenville is belong, right? Where do we belong? We belong with Jesus. All of us, right? All of us belong to Jesus. So anytime we feel like we don't belong to Jesus, we can look to St. Aloysius Gonzaga, because he knew exactly where he belonged. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't click off this video yet. I want to let you all know, please go check out my website, kidcatholic.com. Click the red subscribe button down below. Please press the like button, share this video, comment any saint or topic suggestions that you might have. And like I said, if you went to Steubenville, please comment down below your Steubenville experience, what you thought of it, whether it was your first time or your 5th time. Please let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Let's see. Oh, check out my social medias. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The link to all 3 of those will be in the description down below. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next week. And hi, Brielle.